Yes, 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 yes. The pain of loss resonates within the kink community. We've all lost somebody. The whole community is about connection and the time we have with each other. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nicholas Tannick. Podcast is called YKF, Your Kinky Friends. Everything we talk about is between consenting adults. There's a culture. We're consenting adults. Don't judge. Seriously, don't judge. That's why you're unhappy. That's why you're alone. That's why you don't have purpose in your life, because you're a judgy asshole. Please don't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, wow, am I honored. From around the country, we have California, we have Arizona, and we have Texas. And of course, we have New Jersey. Let me go around the room and introduce our special guests tonight from Texas, from Dallas, Texas. We have a legend, an absolute legend. She's been on the show before. Check out Depeche Mode for Dungeons with Nico Noir.
I still talk about that episode.
I'm very proud of that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really proud of that one.
It's one of my favorite spots I've ever been on.
Oh, thank that. That means a lot to me. That really does.
That's what you just said.
The guest of honor at DomCon this year.
I was. Thank you.
It was, and ready to take on Nola. Please, bow down and obey and show utmost respect to the Commandant. Commandant, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a minute. We're wigless today, but I'm excited to be here, even though the topic is dark. But I mean, we need a goth kid to talk about the dark shit, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We also have Mistress Claudia, special guest Scarlet, in Arizona, as always, and the Bussy Boss, Anna Valentina. Tonight, we're talking about losing a long-term sub. We've all felt the pain of loss. Sometimes we lose people, clients, submissives, lovers, partners, through death, through location, through money, things sour. My Dom, who I've known for many years, who I lived with, who edited my books and did the covers of my books, saved my life, suffered from mental illness. And I had to lose her in front of my eyes when I knew her, when I was recovering. It's a dark topic, and we're going to address it. Thank you so much, everybody. Please get 15% off all inventory at lockedinlust.com with offer code YKF. So let's talk about building the bond. It all starts with building the bond. Long-term submissive clients often form deep trust and connection with their dominant. So basically the question is, can you share what it's like to develop that dynamic over time? And how does it feel when a relationship ends? Let's start with the Commandant.
Oh, shit. I was going to go last because mine's like super sad. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, mine's sad.
Okay.
Sorry.
Mistress Claudia and Scarlet, would you like to address this question?
Building the relationship?
Can you share what it's like to develop that dynamic over time?
To develop it?
The bond and how it feels when that relationship ends.
Well, it's all client to client. They're all different. So some you bond with really strongly, really quickly, and others take time. But it's like family. I have subs that come to Christmas. I have some subs that come to Thanksgiving. It's very familial. It's not just a client. It's not just money. It becomes somebody you're invested in, somebody that you truly care about. And I always say that I always try to make my clients' life better. I want them to leave better for having seen me, not worse. I don't ever want to do something where I'm re-traumatizing them. It's always trying to make them better, feel better, be better, even if it's through whatever kind of kinky stuff we do. It's still like trying to help them see something about themselves, help them grow, and you just build a bond when you do that. Almost like therapy. Except we're not taking notes and we're not judging and we don't have strict rules. So it's this whole other thing. But I have a lot of subs that have become like family. And when you lose somebody that you've grown that close with, it could be very painful. We have a mutual client that we lost. And what was amazing about him, he had been seeing a lot of the same doms for 20 years at least, maybe longer. He was in his 80s when I started seeing him. Maybe you too, I think. I think he was 88 in the end. And at the end, he wasn't really doing a whole lot of like hard stuff. I would go over and I would take him to lunch. I would bring his laundry home.
We'd go to Applebee's with him. That was our session because he was so, we grew so attached to him, and he was just at the point where he couldn't handle having the sessions we used to have, and we would literally just go out to eat with him at his favorite place, Applebee's.
I'd do his laundry.
Yeah.
I made him little like photo albums. Oh my gosh, remember when we surprised him? We surprised him for his birthday. She brought him, she said, oh, well, Scarlet's going to meet us at this restaurant. And he got so worried because he hadn't heard from me, and I was just like kind of blowing him off. But the restaurant turned out to be my house, and we had a birthday party and like a cake. And it was so sweet, and we took photos, and I made him that little picture thing. It like makes me emotional thinking about it. And when he was in the hospital, he had seen so many doms, so a lot of us were visiting him. And the headmistress at the Den of Indomitus here, Portia, she was there like 8 hours a day with him, advocating for him. She's a nurse, so she was helping him. And we were with him till the end, and then none of the nurses knew who we were.
They're like, why are all these women here?
You have so many friends, so many people care about you, and he didn't have family. We were his family. So that's what it can be like, and it often is. And some of these people are very lonely, and it's amazing that this is the community that will rally around a person and take care of them in the end like that.
Yes, that was beautiful. I mean, it's sad, but it's the fact that oh my God, I could picture it in my head, and like me being in and out of the hospital so many times, that was something very special that you did. Like seriously, it affected me, and I wasn't part of it. You know what I mean? The Commandant. Yes, so like I said, the bond, long-term submissive clients often firm deep trust. We're coming to you, but before we go to you, Anna Valentina, what is it like when how does it feel when the relationship ends?
Oh boy. Well, yeah, and depending on the circumstances under which the kind of relationship I had with that person. One example is I had somebody in San Francisco who known for years as a phone client, and then we actually met in person at DomCon. This was years ago. He came down, and we met there, and he had been by that point he had been diagnosed with throat cancer, and so he, it was a very meaningful meeting for us. And from diagnosis to the end when he passed was 11 months. It was less than a year that we had time after he knew he was sick. So that ending was really kind of the epitome of that whole relationship was kind of the epitome of what doms go through sometimes, as far as discretion and not having access to those final moments. But we had a really lovely bond that, he was a really sincere guy, and he knew a few other doms. And that's how I found out that he had passed, is another mutual friend, another dom told me. But it was, more recently, beginning of this year, somebody who'd been with me for 13 years, saw him once a month. He had been passed down to me. I inherited him from a friend of mine who also saw him for a long time, and she moved out of town, and so on. And yeah, we were friends during pandemic, during lockdown. We talked by the phone. And one time he stopped by and just gave me some tribute, because he was like, I know this is impacting your ability to, do your work. I want to make sure that you're okay. So he just dropped by some money. And he was, you know, again, I had him for 13 years. He was a very comfortable, known presence in my life. And then one day he just missed his session, and I never heard from him about it. And he always told me that, you know, if you just don't hear from me, something's happened, because I would never just ghost. So I knew when I didn't hear from him, I asked, like, over text, I was like, you know, no, are you still, you know, whatever, asked after him over text, never got a response. So I was like, well, I guess I have to assume that the worst happened, basically. Yeah, and I can't really get confirmation from that. You know, he's one of the, you know,
This begs the question: if you could tell something to that sub now, what would you say?
I would say, I treasure the times that we had together. I was always, you know, I always cared about you. I know you cared about me. I miss you. I wish I could say goodbye. I wish I could,
Yes.
you know, I wish I could have that closure. At least know that that was what happened. I could, you know, bid farewell and wish him well and say, you know, I release you and thank you and I love you. Um, I just have to say those things, you know, to myself, to him in my heart, the him that I carry in my heart. And, you know, we don't have much recourse when you're a professional and you have to have discretion. A lot of people have, you know, marriages or job, you know, whatever it is that they, you can't be there in the hospital room. Um, and that is kind of heartbreaking when that happens, because you have such intimacy with someone. You know them so well, you know things about them that nobody else knows. You've seen them in moments that nobody else has seen them in. And unlike a therapist, we do things that therapists don't do.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you nailed it. You totally nailed it. Now, Mistress Claudia, before we get to the Commandant, Scarlet, Mistress Claudia, if you could tell something to that sub, or, you know, who passed away, that you take to Applebee's and stuff like that, what would you tell them?
In that case, we, you know, I mean, I got phone calls from the nurses at the hospital saying that, you know, he keeps asking for Claudia, he keeps asking for Claudia. And, you know, so in that case, he didn't have any family. We were his family.
We got to say goodbye.
We were his family, but
we told him we loved him.
And that's the thing too, is that, you know, when you develop such a deep connection and bond with your clients and they turn into more than that, it is super traumatizing to lose someone, because it's almost like you hold their, you know, deepest, most of the people in their lives don't know that they have this other side to them, and we're their confidants and we are their, you know, they trust us really more than anyone else, because they keep their, you know, deep dark secrets to, you know, the people that are in their daily life. They confide in us and we have deep connections, and it's super traumatizing when you lose someone that you have that connection with. I know that we were fortunate with this gentleman that we were his family, and sometimes that's the way it becomes, is they do become part of your family, and it's like losing any family member. It's really sad.
That sentiment resonates with me so much. So
Yeah.
many. There, Mark Maron has a joke about dominatrixes, dating a dominatrix. He goes, "I knew nothing about this world. I just thought it was a bunch of women sticking things in the sad men." You know, I don't know how much that is true, but sadness really does that connection. It's special. It's special. And when I was sick, the kink community came through, and my dom, like, when losing her, I mean, she died from complications from ovarian cancer, and losing her, I had to, like, change my life and reclaim my life, refine definition and purpose. So I wrote this. I wrote the coolest. I killed myself, basically. And that's we have a connection. The Kink community has a connection that is unlike any other. And so Kink, it really is heavy. The Commandant. This is the Commandant. The Commandant.
Oh God, we're on my website. Holy shit.
Yes.
Hi.
So can
I'm
you
behind
share
the
with us
bubble.
what it's like to
Ooh.
develop that dynamic over time, that bond, and how does it feel when that relationship ends?
So I want to firstly clarify, I lost more so of a lifestyle submissive than a client. Our first meeting with each other, when we met, our coffee date for our consultation was only supposed to be like 30 minutes. That's usually what I do those for. It ended up being 7 hours. Because we were very interested in one another just as people. We connected really fast, and I quickly put Bear under consideration, and Bear's consideration period was for about 4 months, if I want to remember correctly.
Their name was Bear?
Yes.
Did
I
you
named
name
them
Bear,
yes,
or
yes,
you
they were
named
my
them Bear?
baby Bear. For their privacy, I'm not going to do first name just because.
No, of course.
Yeah, but Bear, baby Bear. And Bear, it was one of those cases where they weren't lonely, but they were, because they had they lived a double life in the sense of who they really wanted to be versus who they had to be. And I saw that very quickly, and I tuned into it, and I tried to nurture that as best as I could. So developing that bond with somebody when I have a lifestyle submissive versus a client, even though I do get connected with somebody in this way somewhat when they're a client, it's just not as much when it's a lifestyle submissive for me. I compartmentalize. We've established this. But she very quick, or they, excuse me, she very quickly became a part of the family. Very comfortable, very natural. And so when I lost her, I actually honestly have to say it's when we lost her. She was, let's see, I don't know if we want to put that on YouTube. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yep. I don't know what, I got to fix it anyway. Because it's I want clips. It's usually, it's I want clips. So like, be careful. I've been banned for Lincoln education before.
No worries.
That's why YouTube deal sucks. Anyway, building that bond was everything that I had always dreamed about when I was younger, and I always had fantasies of not normal relationships. She not only bonded with me, but she bonded with my partner. They were best friends. And I, in a grateful way, even though it was the worst day of my life, I was the second person to be notified of what had happened. I was there every moment. To her family, I was just her girlfriend. And I'm okay with that. I did it up until some of them still to this day, I am just this person's girlfriend. And that I was okay with it. So that way I could be there every step of the way with them through the bitter end. But when I lost them, it was we all lost them. She was every integral part of Kinkify. She was my demo bottom. She helped me review the entire 50 Shades of Grey series from start to finish. Like she was one of her and my fiance Pappy are my biggest cheerleaders. I had to complete, like you saying, you had to re-examine everything that you did in this kink world that we live. I had to re-examine everything that I did because the lifestyle that I live just so happens to coincide with my career.
There's a lot of feelings when it comes to that.
I had to
managing.
I had to work the weekend that it happened. I had a convention.
Wow.
And,
So how do you how do you manage that? How do you because there's so many feelings that you have to deal with.
Nicotine. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was disassociated. I powered through because I wanted to make her proud, and I didn't want her to think that I didn't do something because of her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I was like, no, I can do it. And I see the question. You didn't get to read it out loud. I don't know if you want to.
Oh, I'll read it out loud. How do you manage feelings like rejection, sadness, or even relief while maintaining your personal composure? And that basically, I'm going to lead up with this, emotional navigation. Losing submissive client can stir up complex emotions.
Okay. I'm about to be a nerd. Yeah, so put it to everybody else on this live stream. I'm a Trekkie. I'm a huge Trekkie, and Star Trek has literally saved my life. I don't care. I'm proud of it. I have Star Trek ships literally on this coffin shelf behind me. We've got Star Trek books. It is a Trek household. And so there's an episode of TNG where Guinan is talking. Guinan is a character. She's basically like Space Jesus, but better. And she's talking to this kid who's experiencing his first breakup, and he's like, I'll never feel love like that again. I'll never feel that again. And she says very calmly, there will be others. You'll feel it, and every time it'll be different. It'll be similar, but it'll be different. And I just had to keep reminding myself of that. And I also I took a little bit of time off, like for a couple of things. And so it took me playing that quote over and over in my head over and over again. And also how I do my career is I like to help people first and foremost. Helping people is my number one. And it would be a damn shame to if I stopped doing that just because I couldn't help her the way that I wanted to. She wouldn't have wanted that. So that kind of it keeps inspiring me. It's inspired me continuously every day since it's happened.
It's by you being you and you keeping on. By you keep on keeping on, you're keeping the spirit alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Because just like everybody said, we know the deepest, darkest secrets about these people. And I had to hold one of those till her death. Like there are people in her family who don't know about her and her being her. So like it was so painful to have to sit on front row seating next to their weeping mother and their weeping brother while I'm also collectively losing my mind, and also weeping. And also just hearing her be referred to as like a guy. I was like, oh, there's so many levels to this. It sucks. But like
I know how you feel because
we know these deep dark things that sometimes we can't even ever talk about ever.
And it's like does it feel like they're almost being erased? Because for example, the woman who did the covers for this book, she also dommed. She was my dom. She was very lifestyle, not 24/7, but we lived this life, on your kinky friends, but it was also, we had separate vanilla lives. And those separate vanilla people, this whole lifestyle that she has a history. She has a culture. She had a following. She was known. Well, to them, it's nothing. It's just like, if they could, they would just erase it or delete it from their history of, and that's a shame. It's like erasing a person's character. So Mistress Claudia and Scarlet, how did you manage the feeling? How did you emotionally navigate through these feelings, rejection, sadness, or even relief when the complicated feelings of loss? How did you navigate through that?
Well, yeah, depending on the circumstance, it can be relieving to lose a client because, especially me, I have an overdeveloped sense of guilt So I'll keep people around that maybe aren't the best people to keep around. And sometimes when you finally say, you know what, enough's enough, I can't handle this or you anymore, and you walk away, it could be a huge relief, because there are some people who message you and you feel obligated to respond, but your stomach sinks when you see their name pop up. And so I'm trying to learn how to not keep those kinds of people around, and just the ones that I'm good for, and they're good for me too. So that's definitely a feeling. With the client that we lost, I actually had a moment in the car where I just sobbed. I felt so terrible, and I just had to get it out. And so I let it out, and that was the moment. I just wept for him and got it all out. You know, he was 88 years old, so it was not a gigantic surprise, but it still hurt. And I also have a very, very supportive husband. He's wonderful, and I could talk to him about anything, and I do. And that's very fortunate. I'm extremely fortunate to have that.
That's a very interesting dynamic. Mistress Claudia, how do you deal? Because I know you can be cold and you're brutal, but on this show, I mean, you save lives. You save seriously.
She's the
save
most
lives.
empathetic person there is.
I know. So how do you manage these feelings of, because the multiple complicated feelings of losing, whether it's you didn't want to be with them anymore, or maybe they died, or just something happened? How do you manage these feelings?
I'm so in my personal life, I'm alone a lot. Alone, when I say alone, I mean I'm not with people. I'm with animals, and I get really sad. I mean, I develop my clients. Some of them are my closest friends, and is that healthy? Probably not. But we have such a bond that even in our real lives, and we're so in control of our lives, like in reality as well, that we are able to have that relationship, both on the kink side, but also on, we function in real time too, because a lot of my clients are not lifestyle. So, but they're also, they know that when we meet outside of behind closed doors, that, they don't introduce me as, oh, this is my mistress, but we're so close that, and that's backfired too. I was talking earlier, I had a client that I saw for many years that actually purchased a home near me and was involved in my personal life. They volunteered at my rescue, and they were lonely, and they'd make, their thing was vegetarian chili, and I would come over, and we'd still play and things like that. But it got to a point where the passive aggressiveness and weird stuff started coming out, and I was like, hey, this is unhealthy. And so we ended our relationship. And it was like a breakup. So, I mean, I guess each person is different. I do care very much about people that I do develop these relationships with. And it is hard to lose them. It's hard, especially when someone, I have one person who, I mean, he was the ultimate toilet slave, and he even had a custom made bed where, you'd pull out from under the bed and it would be this coffin that he'd lay in with a toilet over his head. And, one day he said to me, he goes, I have to stop seeing you. I met someone and we're going to get engaged and she's going to move in.
Does she know about the coffin toilet?
No, I know.
He hid the coffin toilet from his wife?
Well, he must have gotten rid of the coffin toilet,
You think he's secretly coffin toileting it, like, in other places? Is that a verb? What are you doing, honey? Nothing. Are you coffin
it's like,
toileting again?
you know, like how, if you're so into, like he was so into that, how could you just all of a sudden stop that? And I mean, it's in your wiring, you know,
Yeah.
and I, you know, and then maybe like a year later he reached out to me.
Yes, that's what always happens. That's what always happens. They think they can do it, and then they end up.
Well, he started doing online stuff, and he reached out to me freaking out that this person was supposed to be this big, you know, toilet slave queen, whatever, and it was someone else, and they were blackmailing him for money and what she should do. And it's like, you know, I knew you couldn't get it out of you. I mean, he was so into it. And was it sad? Yeah, it was sad to lose. It's sad when I lose clients. I get sad to the ones I connect with, because I do connect with them. So I know that some of them it's like, okay, bye, see ya. Yes. Like, don't ever come back. But that's very rare, because I like to develop long-term relationships with people I see. I don't really like the one-hit wonders, you know?
Yeah. So it's not only more rewarding, but it's more life affirming. And you just, like, seriously, you did something that I never thought was, you basically, you're like, you're mourning the loss of your toilet slave. And that is something that, I don't know, that's a very interesting dynamic that we haven't addressed on that show. But let's talk about the power dynamics of closure. So BDSM relationships thrive on clear boundaries of consent. Anna Valentina. So how do you deal with all these emotions with closure, right? And then you have to lay it on them. You have to like say that, like, either, or, you know, if you have to let someone go if they're not dying or something like that, but you have to talk with them and you have closure with them. So first of all, how do you maintain the emotions of this, the previous questions, and how do you basically approach closure?
Yeah. So I wanted to mention, we were talking about clients and so on. So the one I lost earlier this year is, so yeah, again, kind of not a surprise. So that kind of is a closure in itself, where it's like, if you see it coming, you know, you're a lot more emotionally prepared for it. You can prepare yourself and sort of brace yourself and kind of start the closure process in some way, and just kind of like keep a hold of that. And then, you know, when something happens and you're kind of, you know, finishing. Yeah, it's not always a bad thing to you know, cut ties. It reminds me of, speaking of relief, reminds me of a relationship that I had with someone who started as a client. We got along really well, and uh, he was exciting to play with. And he didn't really have much experience with prodoms, but he was, you know, he was very, very well mannered and very polite and so on. So I started him in his, you know, consideration process, blah, blah. And we got to, you know, when we got to the knowing each other and playing and stuff, it was electric, and he was like smart and super kinky, and, you know, really loved playing hard. And after a while, you know, he was always, he kind of started going, oh, this is one thing too. He started going into the I'm in love with you part. And when somebody goes into that I'm in love with you part, then that starts to change the dynamic here. It's not, you know, having somebody in love with me like that is not the sort of power that I wish for. That is not the focus of the relationship. It skews emotions. It makes people really, it brings out an imbalance if they have any imbalances, which they usually do. And it puts this sort of weight on the relationship that's not, you know, again, it's not asked for, and it just, anyway, it can mess with a lot of things. So finally, let's try to make this long story a little less long. Finally, he did something that really just, like, he was professing his love for me, and then I found out, like, he'd turn around, and like a friend of mine came over and she was like, your slave is hitting on me. And I was like, what? And she goes, here. And she showed me like his FetLife messages to her about how he wanted to suck her feet, all this and that, and blah, blah, blah. I was just like, oh, no, you did not. And
you and these hoes ain't loyal.
Right. Thank you, man. I was, oh, you did not. And so I had this like dramatic, like blow up, conversation. I called him and I was like, what the fuck? Who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, no. And I was like, you are dismissed. And I hung up. And that was the last time I actually talked to him, but he went crazy. I was satisfied. I was like, oh gosh, this is a super dramatic way to end it. But he was a super dramatic dude. And he ended up stalking me for the next year. And I had to block him on all the platforms. And he was like emailing me, calling me 2 or 3 times a day, texting me, whatever. And I was like, dude. And he, at one point, kind of threatened me. He was like, I know you so well, I can take you apart. Like, he was like trying to psychologically dominate me or something. And I was like, oh boy, okay. So yeah, it was
like, this guy really, let me.
Right.
So when subs say like clients, because I compartmentalize and I tell them right away. I'm like, you are this or this. There is no this. Just because I really don't know. But like every time I've had somebody hit me that I didn't want them to or didn't feel the same way, I would hit them with a JSSM article that I have saved and bookmarked for this reason. And it scientifically explains the neurological difference between love and desire. And I'm like, nope, you're not in love with me. Your brain is just stupid. Sorry. You want to keep seeing me or no? Because you just made this uncomfortable.
Yeah. I feel like it is sort of unfair. It does put an additional and undesired weight on the dominant to be like, okay, now you really aren't seeing me for who I am. Now you
No, for sure. And I've ended relationships and dynamics. Like I don't just have like dead. I've broken up with subs before. And it sucks in the moment, like it's a breakup. Breakups suck, but like sometimes shit doesn't work out, and like we're adults. Things can happen that way. Like it doesn't. Finding one dominant, sometimes they're not the one dominant for you. And what's awesome about Kink is that there's like literally hundreds of us, if not thousands. So like go nuts.
Millions.
Yeah, there's so many of us. It's great.
Yeah. So, Commandant, how do you approach closure? Like, for example, I mean, even in death, if you know someone's dying, like there's certain ways you want to, send them out the right way. But if they're not acting right, if there's a location, if you know the relationship is going to end, how do you approach closure?
So in death, it took me a little bit to get like full-blown closure from Bear. And honestly, it took me getting, and whoever I know watching this is just going to laugh their ass off. But it took me getting out more and like connecting with people more to really, because I'm such an introvert. I hate going out in public. I hate it. But it's part of my job. And
why do you do things at expos and events now?
Because it makes me money. What do you mean?
Yeah. It's just funny that like you hate it so much.
I hate people, but I love them at the same time. I can't help people from just from the internet. I've tried to do that and then it just didn't work. So here we are. Why? There we go. But with Bear, it really it took time. It took time and me being patient with myself and connecting with my community and listening to everybody's stories and having honestly, I mean, one of the main people was Director Jez, who helped me. So shout out to Director Jez, my best friend and my rock.
Like just it's
I love them.
Beautiful, creative.
I love them so much. And they stayed through the thick and they were who I called when I was collapsed on my floor sobbing. About I got the call from her brother and then I immediately called Jez and I was like, I don't know what to do. My life is like, I now have nothing. In the sense of like breaking up with somebody, it really depends. Like I'm empathetic and I'm very caring to an extent. You only have so much. So if you are dicking around with me, if you are lying to me, if you are trying to screw my friends and I don't know about it and you didn't talk to me about it, because really all you have to do is talk to me about it. I like to screw my friends too. I just like to know who you're fucking around with.
Yes.
Like that's it.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, but if you do it in a shitty way, if you're shitty about it, like you're trying to replace my partner, like Pappy, if you're trying to move too fast, I get over it really quickly. I'm not gonna lie to you. I control alt delete and I'm like, have a good one. This isn't gonna work for either of us. I had a lot of fun with you. I wish you all of the best in your endeavors. Peace out, homie. You're not my problem anymore. And then I call it graduating in this sense, where like I've had a client where, or like a submissive, like client / submissive, where we're working on a specific thing together. And then they accomplish that goal. And I am no longer needed because they accomplished that goal.
Yeah.
And so we can part. And it's
Like
just,
you're free now, grasshopper.
basically, yeah. And I've had that so many times where I'm like, we're done here. Like you're confident enough in your ability to communicate to your partners what you need. You're able to do the thing yourself. Goodbye with the water wings. You know, you have my phone number. You can call me whenever you want a session again. But like, bye. Love you.
Yeah.
Be safe. Wear a condom. Don't hit anybody in the ribs.
I love this. I have this as a quote. You're not in love with me. Your brain is just stupid.
Yeah, you're not in love with me. Your brain is just stupid.
Mistress Claudia and Scarlet. You have to approach closure. You professionals. You actually both of you. You're both centered, which is beautiful. And like emotionally centered, like, and emotionally intelligent. It comes across in everything you do. So how do you approach closure in a client to still honor the power dynamics? I mean, you everything you built, you got to close it down. How do you do it?
That depends on the client too.
Yeah, that's an asshole.
Yeah, sometimes you just walk away without saying anything at all.
And sometimes it hurts really, really bad. Like, there are people who I haven't seen again that I'm like just waiting for the day for them to email me, sort of things. I'm like, dude, it was really fun. Can we please? But like, you don't want to be desperate. You're just waiting.
Yeah, that's definitely true too.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to, I mean, there are some where it's an argument and you're just like, I'm not going to deal with you anymore. This is ridiculous. And then it's a block and goodbye forever. And I've had one that was just annoying, god awful annoying. And it took time and I had blocked him and he ended up 2 years later, I think, messaging me like, hey, it's me, please. And I was like, you know what, I will. And he's been a lot better, way more respectful of my time. I don't like any of this last minute stuff or, hey, what are you doing right now? Can you come see me right now?
Oh my God, I hate that shit.
I hate that so much.
Oh, that's why my day rate, like same day, is $1,000 or more. Fuck you.
That's so smart.
Fuck you. Yeah, I don't, I have shit to do. Just because I'm a lifestyle dom doesn't mean I'm chilling in fucking full drag all day.
Dressed and ready to go with our makeup done and our little
Dude,
lingerie or something.
The Commandant like signature look is fucking a wig. I'm not putting on a wig in less than an hour. You got me fucked up.
Thank you. Yeah, you get it.
Yes.
So sometimes they can clean themselves up and fix their behavior and come back better for you. And I've seen that happen. I've walked away from some and had them try to message me everywhere and just been like, that is not worth reapproaching. And just had to like, you have to keep yourself protected because you can't be with anybody else in a good way or help anybody else if you're too busy accommodating these people that really in the long run don't respect you.
Exactly. That's what I try to like, because sometimes I get the like, I've had to really go hardcore on like boundary setting as well. Mm-hmm. And like knowing my own worth because like Dallas, it's kind of cutthroat here and not a lot of people believe me when I walk in and I say I'm a lifestyle as well as a pro. I had to earn it,
Wow.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It's, I could tell you stories, but anyway, but oh fuck, I forgot where I was going. ADHD. Shit. What was I saying?
We're talking about closure.
Closure. Thank you. ADHD. The annoying ones, like we shouldn't have to, we're the dominant, you know what I mean? Like I hear people struggling with I have to say no. because I feel like some clients, not all, and some submissives, not all, obviously, we don't generalize. They think if they can waive like a certain amount of money, this is like this in dancing culture too, where like they waive a certain amount of money and they're like, I'm important. Come on, now you'll pay attention to me, which for some people, no amount of money is worth my self-respect.
Exactly.
You got to value your self-respect. Like, I try to function, and I feel like you guys do too, just from all of y'all's responses. Like, you respect the person that you play with. We're people first, position second. So if you can't respect me as a person while I'm trying my hardest to respect you as a person, why should I waste my time on that? Is like the sort of vibe.
No amount of money is worth your peace either.
Mm-mm.
It's just not worth it. I've walked away from a lot of money knowing that just like it's not worth it. It's like selling your soul at that
Dude,
point.
if I was a corrupt piece of shit, I'd be so rich.
Oh
I
my
would
gosh,
not.
me too.
I would not be
say it
living
all
in
the
South
time.
Dallas. I'll tell
I'm
you that
just
right
so-
now.
Absolutely.
I'd have full set of nails all the time. Absolutely not. I have to be able to sleep at night. I'm a sadist who has to sleep at night.
Exactly, because we have like, you know, a conscience and everything. And we were just talking about before.
What?
I know.
I need to buy one of those.
We were just talking about
Anna
having some
Valentina.
clients that- Oh, sorry.
Anna Valentina, how does the bussy boss shut
Oh, I
shit
love
down?
this.
Honor the power dynamic. Honestly, 100% honesty, or honest, gracious honesty. You know, brutal honesty one thing, but like gracious honesty. You know, like what is the nature of the dynamic that we've built? That super dramatic story about like, oh, you're dismissed, whatever. That was in the dynamic that we had. And that actually kind of worked for us because that was his personality. But other ones, no. You know, if someone is well, you know, it's more typical that it's kind of just more like on a normal sort of, you know, we understand each other as people. So again, compassion, honesty, grace, acceptance of what's going on. And you know, the way I approach it, I'm setting the example. I'm setting an example for how we view this. You know, giving them dignity and acceptance is like, you know, I still accept you as a person. It's just whatever life is bringing us, we're not, you know, we're not suited together or something like that. But really just being, you know, humanistic about it. And I mean, I suppose like if they really did do something wrong that that sort of precludes the, you know, advancement of that relationship, then also that too can be, look, you know, this isn't working this way. You know, what you need is something different, or they have some growing to do, that kind of thing. Like, look, you know, Godspeed, go on your path. You know, I hope you, I'll wish you the best in the or
Dude,
whatever.
I love to suggest subs to like people.
Wait, your sound cut out, or mic sound cut
Yeah,
out.
I think your sound cut out.
Yeah. Well, what did you just say? Sorry, Commandant.
Oh,
Oh no.
your sound's coming out. Calm down. Yeah,
Uh,
it's
uh,
their mic isn't connected.
really good.
Oh, okay. So when we figure this stuff out, but let's move it on. The financial and professional impact for those who rely on professional domination, kink services. You know, for an income, losing a long-term client can be a blow, right? Commandant, please come back out and come back in if you have any issues. But yeah, so you're back.
Thank God, my mic got.
Oh, cool.
What I was going to say is I like suggesting subs to like other dominants that I feel like they might be a better fit. That was what I was going to say. We can move on. I'm sorry. I was just like, no, yes, suggestion. Like, I don't think there's a friend for you. Here's another friend that might work for you. I do that all the time, all the damn time.
That's a great, again, gracious, voice them off. But you know, be like, I see a few for you.
Sorry, you cut out a
Oh.
bit there. But let's talk about financial and professional impact. For you rely on kink services, domination for income, right? Losing a long-term client can be a blow. So what strategies do you use to stabilize your practice and attract new clients? Because you got to keep the business going. You can't like some people work out, some people have sex, some people focus on money, some people, you got to get through this loss, right? Some people use nicotine, some people use heroin. I don't know. Some people use but you got to maintain the business financially. This big loss you take. Let's go around the room. Let's start off with Scarlet, Mistress Claudia. What strategies do you take to stabilize your practice after a financial loss, like losing a long-term sub?
I would say the worst.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. You cut out by accident. Can you come back? I mean,
I would say that the worst thing you could possibly do is worry about it. I see money as an energy, like currency. It's a current, so you want it to flow to you. I assume if something is taken or something leaves, that something equal or better is about to show up. So I try to live that way. I try to believe that way, and that keeps the flow going.
that was amazing. I am so glad you said that. Wow, that really hit hard. Thank you very much, Miss Claudia.
So I always I never look at a long-term client as financial. To me, that's just the ultimate bonus. When I have long-term clients, like I said, I don't get attached like I'm some pathetic stalker or anything like that. I get attached to them. They're part of my life. So the financial part of it is the last thing that I even think of. But with that being said, there's so many sessions that I turn down because I'd rather have the time for this type of client. So I'm not really concerned about the financial part of it. It's more to me, like, I really like to connect with the people that I meet with. So the money is that's the last on the list for me.
Anna Valentina, what about the financial and professional impacts you have if you lose a long-term sub?
Yeah. First of all, everything that was about money being currency, it's a current, it's an energy, absolutely, and not being steered by that in selection of people with whom we connect. Generally speaking, it's a good idea to never really count on it too much because anything can happen. People lose their jobs, they get injured, they move away, all these kinds of things. So you can't really, say this is going to last forever. You concentrate on the person, you concentrate on the relationship, and then you can you can kind of weather that together, or again have some sort of closure or something. Stabilizing your practice, believing in yourself, believing in your ability to attract the right people. Like not thinking strictly about the money. Don't let the money be the first thing that you think of, because that is yourself into a very precarious perspective. And practically speaking, always take a percentage of those sessions right off the top and sock it away. Just any kind of prudent financial handling like that. But again, like, don't get too emotionally tied to the money as being there all the time. That's that's a very tenuous way to go about things, and then you will be devastated if and when something happens. So practicing emotional resilience and financial prudence, I think, is pretty much, those are the strategies to employ there.
Definitely.
I
Commandant?
personally, can I be heard just for starters? I apologize for any background noise.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, totally.
Cool. Love Blue Yetis, but they're so touchy. I see currency as like a current. It's effervescent. It's always going and doing some form of spicy entertainment for the last 5.5 years now. I've learned that there are slow periods with everything. You can't win them all. And so what I really like to do is I take the time to really hone in on any like skills or special interests. If I have the free time, I dedicate it to class time. I've had a lot of clients recently who want to not schedule when I'm available, and so we haven't been able to connect. So I've just been doing classes to fill in that gap, because sometimes I get tipped, which tip your educators. Start tipping your educators. It's hard out here for a pimp. Please, for the love of God. Anyway,
definitely.
God.
Yeah, no, but the kink community needs money. Seriously,
Yeah,
this is
no,
the only way
and-
we're gonna survive, if you keep the money in the community.
Yeah. I also, I want to say, like, part of, I like to do as an adult entertainer, because I don't just, not just a pro dom. I do content. I do all sorts of stuff. So content for me is my form of passive income. If I'm really, really stressing and like I have the time for it, I start live streaming, just because I have that option. Not everybody has that option. Or I'll start pushing content sales. I'll start doing creative sales around Christmas. You will see me do a sale around Christmas every year. And it is for, Christmas, rent, and also presents for everybody. I do content at a discount for people who donate stuff for Kinkify, because I'm a hoe for the people. Like, thank you for helping out. Here's, 6 months free or something like that. But like, I try to keep my adult content as passive income. And then I am also like spreading into regular types of entertainment as well. I like to try to be diverse, so that way I'm not just relying, like everybody said, on the financial like part of this job, because it isn't always sunshine and rainbows. I'm not living in luxury by any means. I live comfortably, but not in luxury. There are going to be times where you don't make money. There are going to be times it's going to happen. So having something else that can bring you income other than this, whether it be pro doming or X work in general. I'm trying to be friendly for YouTube. I know it's an adult channel, but I still like to try.
Of course.
Try your hardest to have a skill that is sellable everywhere, like graphic design, video editing, event production, product management, stuff like that. It's a good idea just to be well-rounded. It would
Back
help.
to losing a long-term submissive. I was at the Manor. I was at Mistress Manor yesterday, and I was there. Everyone was very excited to, because they know the show, and they Mistress Claudia and the Commandant Anna, but Mistress Sorry, we're talking about losing long-term subs, and one of the things that she said, she goes, get things in writing. If you're living together, if you're sharing anything, banks, accounts, everything, get things in writing. One thing I know from long-term subs, from the people I've interviewed, some relationships are beautiful and they work out. Some don't. And texts, emails, all that stuff. The written word is very powerful, and it can haunt you or save you. Just that you know. So get things in writing.
Get things in writing.
All right, I want to. I do. This is a positive show, and I do want to end things with this final thing. But first of all, before the last question, it's the advice. So, what advice would you give to somebody? One piece of advice you would give to a new professional who about handling the loss of a long-term submissive. Like you're at a party, or someone you know, and they're like, "Oh my God, I just lost blank." It could be death, it could be something, but something that they've been together. What advice would you give him? You're a friend, you're a kinky friend. What advice would you give him? Anna, let's start with you.
Well, I would say the place that you have in this life. You are like a minister to a flock. There are many in your flock, and some of them will be very close to you, but you serve a specific role, and it's a very special role. It's a sacred role. And it may be less or more personal as far as how you know them in a daily sense or something like that, but understand that this is part of our path. This will happen. It does happen. It will happen again. And appreciate the relationship for what it is and has been. Know that it's not, don't take it don't feel like, oh, it's my fault, I didn't, do this relationship correctly or something. You can have this, if you're new to DS relationships, it can be can hit hard, because you hear a lot about relationships like this, and and you can hear how wonderful it can be, and you really want it to work out, and there's not as much precedent in the world for for these kinds of relationships, and they're more intense and they're more complex, and they're you really have to forge your independent path with this, but yeah, again, knowing that it's special and it's different and it triggers different emotions, and to be aware of that going in, to hold that in your consciousness and say, what I have is really special, and accept the fact that, like I said, you have this connection where you have to practice the fine art of letting go.
Yes.
All the time. Sometimes clients don't, a lot of times, clients will see you for a little while and then just kind of biff off, and you don't know why or what happened to them or something, and be like, oh, I thought we were getting along, whatever. And then the long-term ones, you probably do have more of an indication of why they're not there. But in all cases, the ability to graciously let go will save your sanity and your heart. So be aware, start practicing it, bring that grace to yourself and to the relationship all the time, like running in the background, not in a sense of like, oh, I'm going to predestine this relationship to failure. That's not what I mean. It's the art of letting go. And it's a, kind of practice some spiritual Zen with that, some loving Zen with yourself and with that.
Buddhism help. So do the Shaolin monks. Scarlet, Mistress Claudia, you have a friend, fellow Dom, who's had a sub for many years, and something happens, and it's hurting them. And you're friends. You're carrying Doms. What do you tell them? What advice would you give them?
I would say, no matter what feelings arise due to the loss, allow yourself to feel them. When you stifle that emotion, no matter what it is, it festers and it'll bleed into everything else you're doing. What about you,
Mistress Claudia?
If I was to offer advice to anyone, that it's like any other relationship. There is going to be a grieving process if it's a relationship that's important to you. And whatever feelings that you're going through, don't be ashamed of them, because just because you're the Dom doesn't mean that you're not a human being. And, just feel. We're all going to feel differently when we lose different people that are part of our lives. And
those emotions are all valid.
Yes.
And the Commandant, what's one piece of advice you'd give to a friend, a kinky friend, a new professional or a professional, about handling the loss of a long-term submissive?
I'm trying not to bring Trek into it. I really am. I'm struggling.
No, you can bring Trek.
I'm not.
You know what? Look,
man,
television saved me. Television saved me in many ways.
I'm sorry to be I'm not, but I am to be the nerd. Sorry. To be the nerd of the call, but I would bust out that Guinan quote. I'm not gonna, because it helped me so much. And with grief and things of that nature, I have learned the art of gratitude.
Yes.
I be grateful for the time and the moments that you share with each other, because they might not be forever. And I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer. I know we want to end on a positive note. I'm sorry. But that moment with that person might be your last moments, and you need to be grateful for that. Even the bad moments, I have learned to be grateful for. And when you feel that grief and when you feel that pain, there's a gratitude in that, because at least you still have their memory and you can feel the love from a loss so profound. Feeling that moment, if it's painful or not, it's still feeling something for that person. And that feeling is kept alive through you. And that's a beautiful thing.
Well said. Definitely well said. I do want to. I do want to end it.
I
But I want to say, oh yes, Anna Valentina. I'm sorry.
add to that too, because your kinky friends, community, Commandant, you talked about, and you know, the people around you, reach out to them, talk to them. Don't don't isolate. I mean, if you want to isolate yourself, but realize the people around you who are there, who
Yes.
can lift your heart and share with you and comfort you, and you still feel
Even if you think that they hate you, there are people in your community that don't. I am tolerated in Dallas, and like Nick said, I do kind of have an army, but I'm still like, it was one of the many things that saved me from myself, and one of the many reasons why the Commandant is still going strong and taking over the world is because I had people that actually cared and didn't just see me as this. They saw me as who I actually am. And I mean, like, yeah, I had to work the week of my loss, but I was crying every day. I was just like, I would drive and just leak. Like, it was happening, but like, I had people to help me fix the leak.
yeah, and
Yeah.
memories alive. Your kinky friends are the people with whom you celebrate that memory, that relationship, really have that live in a way that people understand. You know, it's this resonance that we all share, and we understand how meaningful and how special and how grateful we are for this memory, for this relationship that happened, for this person who was in our life and will continue to be so. And yeah, what better way to keep that alive? Connection.
So what? This is gonna sound a little weird, but it is what it is. I dream a lot. I'm a whimsical person, and even in my books, which are all true, Lynn comes to me in dreams, and it's just like little flashes, and I get to say something to her. I know it's not real; it's in my mind. I'm dreaming, you know what I mean? But there is that feeling of closure, I guess. So I want to go around the room. We'll start off with Anna. Just real quick, if you could say like one sentence to that person who you've lost, what would it be?
I love you. I always will. And have fun up there.
Mistress Claudia, if you could say, if you could tell somebody that would just that one sentence or a couple sentences, what would you say?
That you mean very much to me. You mean a lot to me. And I'm grateful that you were a part of my life.
Scarlet?
I would say I love you. I'm grateful for you, and I hope you're somewhere beautiful, like you deserve to be.
Thank you. And finally, the Commandant. You get to say one thing. What would you say?
Only one. God, it sucks. It's only one. I will always love you for who you actually are, and things will never be the same without you here.
Oh, thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. We have some. Stan Vladimir says this is why we need Kink helps Kink. My dom sadly retired from erotica BDSM last year. I'm grateful that I met her, and I wish her the best in life.
Oh, what a double whammy! Congratulations on retirement. Bye, sorry, babe.
Yes. How can people get in touch with everybody? How can people support you? How can long-term subs? How can people be your next long-term sub? Let's start off with Anna.
Well, nightflirt.com, FLIRT, on there, and my website, annavalentina.com. You can chase me down on socials too, but I don't really use it very much. So, yeah, annavalentina.com. We'll always have that website forever and ever and ever. So, any questions, find me.
And Scarlet, how can people get in touch with you? What's the best platform for you?
They can find me on Trist in Arizona under the BDSM area. They can get me by email or phone. My email is scarletsky369@gmail.com. I get back to them pretty quickly. That's about it. I don't have any social media. I'm kind of on the down low, as you can see. So I keep it all under wraps.
And Mistress Claudia, how can people get in touch with you? Anything to promote?
They can go on my website. They could text me, email me. All of my information is found on my website. And I have a question. Did Nico send something in?
Yeah,
I saw her. I saw her.
Yes. Oh yeah. Nico commented. She
Where is she?
she goes, you look great, Nick. Commandant, you're lovely. Trek nerds forever. Nico Noir.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
Live long and prosper.
Nico, where are you? And Nico's in Texas too. Where are you? Where
Dallas.
are you in Texas?
Pretty sure somewhere in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we did a show for those. Oh, here I'll bring
Maybe
it up.
she might have moved.
I don't
No,
know.
she's in.
She's still in Dallas.
Oh,
I need to text you, Nico. I'm sorry. I suck. I've been depressed for a while. If you haven't noticed. Well, just to put it into perspective, my loss happened in December. So I decided it was very targeted advertising. Very targeted advertising. Good job.
Well, on a positive note, talking about Nico Noir, please check out Depeche Mode for Dungeons. This is great. We basically go down to Depeche Mode discography and talk about which songs are best to spank to and flog to and stuff like that. And there's a true love for goth music and electronic music. It's a wonderful show. So yes, the Commandant, how can people get in touch with you and support you? And
Boy, so many avenues at this point. I am on dickievirgin.com. I am also on tris.com. My name, you can literally look up the Commandant Dominatrix, and my website, my Instagram, everything will pop up. If you need straight direct directions, everything me can be found on my website. That is HAUS of the Commandant. So houseofthecommandant.com. You can reach out to me through there. You can reach out to me on FET. That's a big one that a lot of people reach me through just because lifestyle stuff. You can try to catch me at an event. I usually teach at DomCon. I do other conventions. It just kind of depends. I'm trying to do FetCon. I just keep forgetting. But yeah, check out what I'm doing locally. I might be in your town, or you can come get me there. All it takes is the right, because yeet will travel if the traveler has coin. Yeah,
And I do want to go out on this note that long-term submissives and long-term clients, they make the kink world go round.
Oh, absolutely.
And we love, oh my God, the whole dynamic, the relationship, the romance of it, the lifestyle change. This whole lifestyle has made my life better. I'm a happier, well-rounded person. I believe I'm a kinder person. Thank you, everybody. Yes, it's the end of the show. Please check out yourkinkyfriends.com. Also, you get 25% off all inventory at lockedinlust.com with offer code YKF. Try the crotch rocket. It's great. Squirt in seconds. And patreon.com YKF. Yes, every show, just like long-term subs, we get the pain of loss. This may be the last show. I'm telling you, we need money. Just give it at the kindness of your heart. Donate, please. It's going to be a great week, everybody. We are not promised tomorrow. Everybody, I love you all. Really kind.